Hello and welcome to Heartrepreneurs. I am your co-host Velma Gallant, Heartpreneur TV. It's been a while since we had a show here for you, so I'm pretty excited to have our special guest this week. We are talking about why digital marketing entrepreneurs and agencies struggle and what you can do about it. Oh boy, my screen is just going weird on me. So today's guest, Julie Musial. For the past 14 years as a business marketing strategist and master certified business consultant, Julie has mentored thousands of small business owners and entrepreneurs on how to grow their businesses. She is a speaker and a 3-time published author with a #1 bestseller in digital online marketing. She created Musial Consulting Group to teach small business owners and agencies who provide digital marketing services how to generate more revenue and grow their businesses. Welcome to the show, Julie.
Thank you. I always love being on your show. Love talking to you. So I'm glad to be here.
This is going to be a brilliant conversation, and I know it's going to be that way because Heartrepreneurs with Terry Levine is full of entrepreneurs of all kinds, including our digital marketing entrepreneurs and agencies. So I know we're going to have a lot of juicy information in here, and I think we're going to have information for those entrepreneurs who are starting out and kind of getting their feet wet in the entrepreneurial world. So tell me, first of all, let's talk about what you say digital marketing entrepreneurs and agencies are.
What they are is really any entrepreneur or an agency who could be a full service agency, meaning they do websites, web development, web strategy. An agency could offer everything that I'm about to say for entrepreneurs, small business owners. They could be SEO experts. They could be marketing experts in the social media area. They could be email specialists. They could be graphic designers. They could be copywriters. They could be videographer editors. Anything that goes online that's saleable.
Okay. Okay. I'm just taking a few notes while we do this. Okay. So our show today is why do these particular kinds of entrepreneurs and agencies struggle and what we can do about it. Why do they struggle?
They struggle because they're so good at what they do. It's almost a catch 22. They're so good at what they do, web designers, web developers, SEO experts, but nobody really taught them how to run a business. And what happens is they just keep doing what they're good at, and they've created a job for themselves instead of an actual business. And what ends up
Mm,
happening is they start working more hours and more hours as they pick up more clients. And that's not necessarily the clients that they should be picking up, because most of the newer ones will take any client they can find. It may not be the right client, and they create everything from scratch. So they're great at working in their business. They don't know how to step back and work on their business and really shape it, get help. And most of them wait far too long to get help. And then they developed all these bad habits, and they just get busy being busy. They get overwhelmed and they burn out, sadly.
mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, so we got a lot of juicy information here. So the first thing that you shared was that they're basically subject matter experts rather than business owners or rather than business CEOs.
Right, right.
Okay, and I know there's a lot of us, it doesn't matter what business you're in, very likely those are things that we do. I know that uh Well, case in point, coaches. Coaches are really great at coaching, but they're not necessarily great at running a business. Um, so basically, you're saying that these digital marketing entrepreneurs and agencies, they've created they created a job with them as the boss, and they're not exactly their best boss.
Right? They're really hard on themselves. They beat themselves up. Their family lives suffer. And that's you were saying how it doesn't really matter what business you're in, it's the same. Yes, I am a coach. I coach digital marketing specialists and agencies, but it's no different than coaching a business that sells, whatever. It just does, it's all the same. Most people, I would say 99.9% of people are not schooled in how to be the CEO. So they just
Mhm.
start running the business
Well,
and they run
and it's
themselves ragged.
the world that we live in with social media, YouTube, all of those kinds of platforms that are out there, there is a lot of opportunity for these businesses because whether for example, there are coaches, leadership experts, even when you're looking at lawyers and accountants and all of those kinds of things, they are out there, and in this world, a lot of times creating a presence online is super valuable. So there is a definitely an opportunity for these people to find their people. And okay, I'm getting off on a tangent there.
Well, it's
So
interesting that you mentioned lawyers and CPAs because they struggle with the same things, especially attorneys. Attorneys tend to work 70, 80, 90 hours a week.
mhm,
Um, Very, very high because they're so good at what they do. And they end up, I'll just do it myself.
yep.
That happens to all business owners. I call them they're technicians acting as a business owner. But and they just feel like they're the only ones that can do it and they don't know how to outsource and they're afraid to just let go and let someone else do it. But there comes a point in time when good enough is better than you running yourself ragged. You have to get people to help you and you have to trust them.
Absolutely. Um, we got a comment here that kind of points to that. I really like what you said there about technicians acting as business owners, um, because it really is true, and I'm going to use a completely off the wall example. Somebody is great at making cakes, and somebody says, "You should have a bakery." And then all of a sudden
Uh-huh.
they're like, "Yeah, and I love making cakes, so I'm going to go open a bakery." And they do that, and then all of a sudden they hate baking because they're doing the baking, they're taking care of the storefront, they're taking care of the books, they're taking care of every aspect of that business and not doing the thing that they actually love to do. And so what I'm hearing is it's the same thing with these digital marketing entrepreneurs, these social media experts, these graphic designers,
Absolutely.
copywriters, that same kind
Absolutely.
of thing.
I coached a business owner about 5 years ago who had bought a golf course because he loved to golf. He ended up working 100 hours a week. He never golfed. He stopped golfing. He totally burnt out, sold the golf course because he couldn't take it. And it's not funny. I don't mean to laugh, but it's so typical of that entrepreneurs, they go into something they love, and that's great. That's why I
Mhm.
do what I do. You can't do it all yourself. You have to get help. And one of the big mistakes I see entrepreneurs making and agencies is they don't get help soon enough. They end up
Mm.
getting burnt out. It affects their personal life. If your personal life's not working, it's going to affect your business, and it's a ping pong ball, goes back and forth.
Right. Right. So, what's the first step to moving out of that struggle and moving into operating your business like a business?
Well, personally, and I really don't think I'm biased. I think one of the one things you should do is hire a coach. You need to hire somebody who's already done what you want to do, because it's no different than any other business. If you study successful people, Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, Napoleon Hill, whoever, you want to study people who have already done what you want to do. By hiring a coach early on in your business, don't look at it as an expense, look at it as an investment. Because what they will do, and why I decided to niche down to coaching digital marketing service providers, is because I owned an international digital marketing firm for 8 years. And what I teach, I did. I proved that it works. I took it from a lukewarm agency to a mega success. And so, what you want to do is find a coach who's done what you want to do. Look at it as an investment. They are going to save you years, maybe a decade. They're most likely save your business from you going out of business. The statistics right now are massive. 80 to 85% of all new business owners go out of business within 12 to 18 months. And that is why. In the United States alone, in 2021, there were 28% more female entrepreneurs that went into business for themselves. My hunch is that COVID had a lot to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
So the competition got fiercer. Those people need to get help. They can't, if they lost their job from COVID and they decided, okay, I'm really great at web designer, I'm really great at graphic design, I'm going to open up this business. You have to get help to help you run it as a business, that you are the CEO.
So this makes a lot of sense to me. And so I'm going to share something from my own personal experience. When I was doing my podcast 1,000 years ago, there was a point where I was doing digital VA, digital web work, and it was Christmas Eve 2011. I'll tell you the exact year, Christmas Eve 2011. A bunch of my clients' websites got infected.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm supposed to be heading over to a family event. So I really am. I'm faced with, it doesn't matter what I do, I lose. I'm either not
Right.
spending time with my family, or I'm neglecting my family, or I'm neglecting my clients. And so that's unfortunately a perfect example of how doing it all yourself doesn't work.
Right, and you don't want to jeopardize your family. It's my own belief that your family is the most important thing in your life. Your relationships. It's much more important than, nobody goes to their grave saying, I wish I would have gotten one more client. I wish I would have had one more business meeting. It's all about spending time with your family, your kids, your relatives. When entrepreneurs, small business owners work those 60, 70, 80 hours a week, and just like you said, you don't want every crisis to fall on your shoulders, because if they do, you're going to miss your family events and you can't get that back.
Absolutely not. And so my son was in elementary school at that time, which was, part of the reason why I was doing what I was doing at that point, because I wanted to be home for him. And here I was, one of the most precious times, Christmas Eve with my family, and I'm faced with this choice. And I did choose my family ultimately, but man, it nearly killed me, the guilt that I was feeling in that
Yes.
moment.
Yes. And clients will put that guilt on you. It-
Well, and I get it, because that's their business. Like, their business was
Right,
impacted, right? And so I
right.
I get the importance and value to them. So really, it's like I said, it was a lose-lose situation. There was no way I was going to win at that. And so I can hear the importance. I can feel, I can connect to that importance, and why
Yes.
it's so important for us to figure out how to not necessarily drop being a technician, but find the proper way to organize the business so that I don't have to be the technician 100% of the time. Maybe enough that I still get my joy out of it, but it's not all on me.
Well, a lot of entrepreneurs just, I struggle with the same things. As an entrepreneur, you're an idea person. You love to create. I love to create. I could do it all. What do I do it all as perfectly as somebody else could? No. So those are the things when you really enjoy doing it all, you have to decide what do I want to do and what do I want to outsource? And outsource the things that you like doing the least.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. So outsource. So if you're a digital creator, you like making the graphics and stuff like that, outsource your books.
Yes. Outsource. And here's something else that entrepreneurs don't think about is that it's not just about outsourcing. If you love what you do as an entrepreneur, and let's say you had 3, 4 kids or whatever, and your business is going quite well, and as a business owner, you have to be able to invest in your business. If you can't invest in your business, you probably need to have a job to support getting help in your business. But you have to look at it. Let's say you do love doing those graphics, or you do love putting together the website. Maybe you outsource somebody cleaning your house, somebody doing your laundry, somebody
Mm.
cutting your grass. That will also save you time. And maybe you hate cutting your grass, or maybe you hate cleaning your house. Whatever you don't like doing in your personal, whatever you don't like doing, that's what you outsource.
I love that. I love that because that's really, that is a strong shift in perspective, because I believe, and I mean, clearly I just shared with you my perspective about, outsourcing the books. Yeah, I'm still going to outsource the books. I don't like
And
doing the books, but
one thing too, Velma, when you outsource your books as an entrepreneur or a small business owner, even if you outsource your books, and this is coming from people that I've coached and I've seen the horror stories, you don't have to do it yourself, but you have to watch it close enough to know what's going on.
mhm, I get that. So I have a lot of admin background. And I actually do have some bookkeeping background as well. So I do know some. And I think that also points to making sure that you're getting the right team members,
Right.
right? Because if you have the right team members and you're building those trusting relationships with them, and there's a strong communication flow with them, um, I think that has a huge impact as well. Oh, I like this
There's a
one.
saying that goes, and I believe this: hire slow and fire fast. You want to make sure you get the right people on the bus. If you accidentally got the wrong person on the bus, you have to let that person go as soon as possible, because the longer you have that person on the bus, they could become a cancer in your organization. And what I mean is that if you have, let's say you have 5 people working for you, one
Mhm.
person is allowed to treat things poorly or not as important as the other four are going to think, well, that person's getting away with it. I may as well do it also. You got to get the right people on the bus.
Absolutely. So hire slow and fire fast. It
Yes.
kind of, again, it makes sense to me. And I'm going to use a completely not business example. That would be like taking enough time to find the right stove. And the minute it breaks down, making sure I get it out of my house.
Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
keeping a broken stove does not make sense in your kitchen. And the same
No,
thing inside
no.
of your business.
And what happens to busy entrepreneurs and small business owners is they feel, well, I'll get to that. It's like a Band-Aid for now. It's okay. It's kind of working, but really it's not. It'll
Mhm.
cause you more problems in the long run if you hold on to that problem.
I like that. I like that. Um, yeah, well, it's like wearing a wool sweater for too long.
I'd be itching.
Right? And then you end up with this red
Yes.
mark around your neck and stuff like that. Like, so it makes, and again, it makes a lot of sense, to make sure that you're hiring the right team members, outsourcing the things that you like the least, including things that are outside of your business. I think that was a really important distinction, is that you don't necessarily have to outsource things inside your business. You can be outsourcing those things in your life that you're not keen about either.
Right. And one of the things you can do when you outsource or hire someone, when you are interviewing, give someone a small project to do. Most of them will do it for free to prove themselves. If they're
Hmm.
not willing to do that, that in itself tells you something. But let's say you are hiring a graphic designer or a copywriter. Give them, for example, with the copywriter, ask them to do a free piece for you. See how well they do. See if they can follow directions.
That one for me points to, so like what you were talking about with the bookkeeping, right? I would have that same feeling about copywriting, because I don't like copywriting, but I also don't know a lot about it. So I wouldn't know what questions to ask, what kind of information to give them. How do we make sure that we're getting the right people in those areas of our business that we're not knowledgeable in?
I would ask people if you have a coach, which
Hmm.
Velma, I know you have a coach. I would ask your coach what questions to ask. If you, or, look online, see do your research, do your due diligence, ask your friends and acquaintances who they know. But I definitely would ask your coach and I would definitely research it. And once you start doing that, you're going to start seeing those questions. Or
Well, and very
Google how to find a good copywriter.
chances are a good copywriter is going to have some kind of report that tells you what those important things are,
Right.
right? Because they're going to make sure that you're educated so that you
Right.
feel comfortable hiring them. That's going to be one of those extra mile things that they're going to be willing to do. Because
Right.
even
One of
if they give
the
you
things,
that, you might
one of
hire
the other
someone
big
else.
things too. Well, I'll let you go. Go ahead and say what you're going to say.
Well, because if you find a report like that and you look through it, yes, you're going to probably end up on that person's distribution list. However, you're going to have the kind of information that's going to give you, so you could do like a couple of interviews. You might interview the person that you got this information from, but you're going to interview a couple of more and see which one has the right vibe for you, which one has the right knowledge for you, which one has um the right capabilities and training, all of that kind of stuff. It's going to give you
Right.
some good information. So I like that.
Absolutely. And something else that business owners and agencies should do is they do this for other people, but they don't do it for themselves, is build systems and automate things.
Mm.
Anything and everything that you can possibly automate it. And then create systems. Whatever it is you're doing, create a system. If you have someone working for you who you really like, or even if they're subpar, have them create a video of how they do that function. You want to do that for two reasons. A, they could be sick and you need to have somebody else do it. So they just have to watch the video. It doesn't come back to your shoulders as the CEO.
Mm-hmm.
And what if they quit? So you want to get those systems and you want to get them on videos. I prefer video. We're in the age of technology. And sometimes they think it's because of job security. It's not because of job security. It's because you, as the CEO, want to have that backup. It's just smart business.
It is, and there's a few reasons. Like, even if you want to look at it from the perspective of what if someone does so good that you bring them on as, let's, general manager, right? So you promote them, then they don't have to do two jobs in order to train the next person who comes in.
Right,
They just hand those videos over and get to supervise from a little bit more of a distance, and not quite as much
right.
work. So there's a lot of reasons to do that.
And a couple other things that I would say is if you feel you don't have the money to outsource or hire, barter. People are willing to barter with you all day long. And that way, no money is transferred. The other thing too is let's say you hate sales, or even if you like sales, but if you hate sales and you can get a 100% commission salesperson, you teach them your process, they bring in a sale, they get, whatever percent you decide on, 30, 40%.
Hmm.
That's money that you wouldn't have gotten either way. So you get that client, you get 60%, they get 40. That's 60% you would have never gotten. So you have to think outside the box. What do you have that you can share and give?
I like that. I like that. And the other thing that, as I'm listening to you, so it's day one of my business, right? I've made the decision. It's day one of my business. I am in a position where I'm doing all of these things. Start making those videos immediately. Start making that standard operating procedures as you're doing them, because then you will be
Yes.
handing it off and it will be done the way you want it to be done.
Yes. Exactly correct. The sooner you can do those systems, the better. Because if you don't, you're going to fall into that trap. Jack of all trades. And you don't want to do that.
No, definitely not. And I do like the idea of videos, because it's a heck of a lot easier for me to hit record than it is for me to type out my processes. And
Absolutely.
once the video's there, you can use services like Otter AI and things like that, where they can actually transcribe it. So if
Absolutely.
so somebody can, they can look at the transcription, or they can look at the video, or whatever it is that helps them to be able to learn better.
Right. So as an entrepreneur, small business owner, you got to think outside the box. But really, yes, I'm a coach. Am I biased? I don't think so. You have to get a coach. You have to hire people that have been where you want to go.
Hmm. Absolutely. And I think that's great insight for anyone who is out there, whether you're a digital marketing entrepreneur or an agency of that
Absolutely.
sort. You're going to want to choose the coach that's been where you are and succeeded in that as well.
Because they
And you
know
want to
your
make.
pain points. They know your pain points. They know what you're going through, and they know how to take it from where you're at to where you want to go. And you can scale your business so much faster by doing it that way. My personal coach says make a way or find a way. I truly believe that.
I do as well. I do as well. I know I'm not
And
an age.
I should say who my coach is, Terry Levine. That is a Terry Levine statement. Make a way or
Yep.
find a way. But I totally believe it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that is, I mean, we're both doing that. We have both hired a coach. I mean, I'm doing divorce coaching. Terry was my very first life coach,
Uh-huh.
1,000 years ago. But she was my very first life coach. So it makes sense to me, for me, that I'm doing a form of life coach to a very specific niche with divorced women, because I happen to be divorced, that I hired somebody who's successfully built coaching businesses. So I've done
Right.
like what you're inviting these digital marketing entrepreneurs and agencies to do. You've built those digital marketing agencies and you've successfully built them. So it would make sense to hire a business coach who's done exactly what you're doing. That aren't
Right.
just, they're not just showing you the hows, right? Because there's, you can take a course on how to do social media, but it is like you said in the beginning, that they're good at what they do, but they don't necessarily know how to run a business. And so you have an understanding of the technical aspects of it, along with the proper business growth, scaling, CEO-ness.
Right. Right. Because I've owned and operated 3 businesses, and I'm a business consultant and a coach and a digital marketing strategist. So that's why I decided to niche down to that, to digital marketing professionals and agencies, because I've done it. But like what you said, your coach, you're a divorce coach. Your coach hasn't been divorced, but she can coach you on how to be a coach,
She can
and she's
coach me on
masterful at it.
how to build a coaching and consulting business, because that's exactly what she's done.
Right.
So,
Right.
so yes, yes. So we actually bumped over our time just a little bit. This conversation flowed really well. So again, when you are out there in the world doing your business, you might want to take into consideration how many of those things. Are you a technician instead of a business owner? Are you getting help soon enough? Do you have systems and automation? Take videos of them. Outsource things that you like the least, including things outside of your business. Yeah,
And for
that.
digital marketers, you're going to want to get an online business manager. To replace that person will replace you. That person will report to you, and then the person that's doing your books will report to you, and you might have one more person. You should really try to not have any more than 3 people reporting to you, but then have all the other business functions reporting to those 3 people.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Well, so I know you are a member here at Heartrepreneurs with Terry Levine. We've got for those of you who watch us on video, we've got the Facebook group right there and on the screen there. So make sure that you stop by and join us here, because you're going to be able to connect with other Heartrepreneurs like Julie and the other awesome members that are here at the Facebook group. And Julie, what is the best way for our listeners and the members of our group to be able to connect with you?
Well, they can connect with me at musialconsultinggroup.com, MUSIAL, or they can also join my Facebook group, which is, and I'm going to it right now so I get the name correct. The name is, and there we go, Digital Marketing Service Providers Growth Strategies.
Brilliant. Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Julie. You shared a lot of really juicy information that is going to help these digital marketers. And there was a lot of good information for anyone who's building a business, things like the outsourcing, making sure that you are sitting in that CEO chair. Find a way or make a way.
Exactly. Thanks for having me. I enjoyed it.
Awesome. Thank you. And for those of you on YouTube, make sure you come and join us here at the Facebook group. And for those of you who joined us on Facebook, really appreciate you guys coming and supporting us here. You have a brilliant day.